What is going on, painting company owners? Happy Thursday. Brandon from Painter Marketing Pros here. Our workshop on conversions, maximizing conversions for your painting company has been rescheduled to next Thursday. I guess it hasn't really been rescheduled. Apparently, it was scheduled for next Thursday, and I just didn't realize that. Typically, we conduct them on the third Thursdays of each month, but I guess this month we're doing something different with the PCA. So it's next Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Still very excited about that. Have a little longer to look forward to it now. But the topic I want to touch on today are who are your competitors? Who are your primary competitors for your painting company? And that seems like kind of a weird question, or maybe an obvious question, but I think it's really not. Because the more painting company owners that I interact with, the more I realize they don't really, it kind of ties back to who's your target customer. And if you're converting or you're not converting, through whatever channel that prospect's coming through, when you're not converting, why are you not converting? Is it because the customer was maybe a low value customer and they ultimately decided to paint the house themselves because they're very cost conscious? Is it that your company lost to another company that maybe actually charges more than your company? Are you following up with prospects that don't become customers and figuring out why? Because that's really, really important, right? And if you do that, you'll figure out themes. You'll maybe find, okay, hopefully you're using multiple channels. Hopefully you're using quite a few channels to get different leads through the door. But if you find that, okay, you have a kind of a lower conversion rate than what you would expect with Facebook ads, for example, let's say you're running Facebook ads and maybe you have 20% conversion rate, which I think it should be quite a bit higher than that. What's happening to the 80%? Are you following up? Do you have any system for following up and asking, hey, we appreciate the opportunity to bid on your job. I know you decided not to move forward with us. Would you mind telling us why, or are you working with another company? Right? Because you need to track that, and you need to figure out if they are working with another company. Is it because they kind of came in underpriced? That's the easy assumption. It's easy to think, well, I just have to keep lowering my prices, or I don't land the jobs because these leads are bad. Right? This idea the leads are just bad. But maybe they actually selected a company that's charging higher, and if they did that, well, then it's because they trust that company more. That company has systems in place demonstrating before and afters. Maybe they have a long warranty. Maybe they have some sort of unique selling proposition, unique value proposition, like free touch-ups for life. On interior paint jobs. Maybe they just have a really great follow-up system. That automations like what we offer that helps establish trust. And makes it much more personal for a painting company. Whole idea is to remove yourself from being a commodity, but it's important to not just assume that you got underbid and to not know, because without knowledge, without data, you can't fix it. You can't really figure out what the problem is. Right now, if you are being underbid, can you do something about that? Right? If they did just decide to go with the company because it was cheaper, well, then one of two things happened, or they both could have technically happened. One is it was a bad lead. The prospect was very cost conscious. Maybe they didn't have a lot of money. Maybe the paint job wasn't really a want. We talk about how paint jobs are typically ego driven, want versus need. Maybe it wasn't a want, maybe it was a need, right? Maybe their house flooded, whatever, and they actually did need to get their house painted and they didn't actually want to do it, so they were just trying to look for the lowest cost option, and that was that. So that was a bad lead. The second option, the second reason that could happen is because you didn't convey enough value. Right? So they went with the lower priced option because they saw no reason to pay more for your company. That's more likely to be the option, right? And it's so easy to just chalk it up to, well, they're bad leads. It was a bad lead. Make sure it was. It could be, but make sure it was, right? So make sure you have the data. Make sure you know who your competitors are. When you lose jobs, why are you losing them, right? And if you're, and identify through the different channels, when they come through Facebook, when they come through Google ads, when they come through SEO, when they come through radio ads, if you're doing radio ads, or they saw your rap band or whatever. Make sure you're identifying when they come through these different channels and you don't convert them. First off, know your conversion percentage, of course. But when you don't convert them, who are you losing them to? even if it's to themselves and they did the job themselves, and why are you losing them? Make sure you have a follow-up process in place for that. Super important. All right, guys. Uh, enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow.